Sean drove 120 miles and used 6 gallons of gas. At the same rate, how many gallons of gas would he need to drive 300 miles? They're asking us how many gallons of gas he would need to drive 300 miles. So that's going to give us our let statement. Let's let the gas needed to drive 300 miles be X. This is also a problem that we can solve with proportions because the amount of gas you need is proportional to how far you're going to drive. If you're going to drive twice as far, you're going to need twice as much gas. If you're going to drive 5 times as far, you're going to need 5 times as much gas. And to be fair, it's not perfect. The amount of gas does slightly depend on how fast we're driving, if we're going uphill or downhill, things like that. But more or less, the amount of gas we need is proportional to the distance that we go. So this is going to be a proportion problem, and we're going to solve it by using a table. Now they say that Sean drove 125 miles and used 6 gallons of gas. So the quantities that we have in this problem are distance, which is measured in miles, and gas, which is measured in gallons. And we're given information about 2 different trips. There's the shorter trip, that's 125 miles, and then a longer trip that is 300 miles. So that's how I'm going to label the 2 rows, the shorter trip and the longer trip. And then let's fill in the information. For the shorter trip, we're told that he drove 125 miles and used 6 gallons of gas. So the distance is 125 and the amount of gas is 6. For the longer trip, we know that he wants to go 300 miles. But we don't know how much gas it's going to be, so we said that that was going to be our X. And now that we have our table filled out, we can move all the numbers down directly into a proportion. And this becomes 125 out of 300 equals 6 over X. And then we cross multiply. 300 times 6 is going to be 1800. 125 times X is 125X. Then to get X alone, we have to divide both sides by 125. When we do this division in a calculator, 1800 divided by 125 is 14.4. And so we know that X is 14.4, so I'm going to write that up in our let statements. And X represented gas, and this is measured in gallons, so it's going to be 14.4 gallons. And now we're ready to state our conclusion. They ask how many gallons of gas would he need to drive 300 miles. Sean would need 14.4 gallons of gas to drive 300 miles. And that is our final answer. Though, of course, a quick note, if you were going to drive 300 miles, you'd probably want to make sure you have just a little bit extra gas just in case something happens. So I wouldn't do these calculations in real life and get just 14.4. Better to be safe than sorry.